Hi, everyone. This is Alex Tardy, meteorologist at National Weather Service San Diego, here to talk about the extended heat wave expected through Labor Day weekend. Hot temperatures across Southern California. Here are the highlights. It's already been hot since Wednesday. It'll continue. It'll be muggy. That means there'll be more moisture in the air than even normal levels and warm nights. Excessive heat through Labor Day with 8 to 17 degrees above averages for the coast and valley. We also have a thunderstorm threat this weekend, so we have elevated fire threat due to the temperatures and the lightning. Moderate surf along our beaches, and the beaches will be busy, so that rip current danger will certainly be there. We'll have multiple days of 100 plus for areas just inland, like along I-5 and eastward. Excessive heat warning through Tuesday. Let's take a look at some past temperatures on August 31st. On this day, Anaheim reached 106. Check out other locations in the Inland Empire and the deserts. The following day, Thursday, 106 at Avalon on Catalina Island. Obviously above the marine layer, you could see the excessive temperatures across the deserts and the Inland Empire. A lot of readings around 110. It's muggy. What do we mean by that? Dew point temperatures are over 65. In fact, 70s along the coast. The Coachella Valley, Salton Sea, also 70s. So we have two things going on: warm ocean temperatures and also monsoonal moisture that just never went away and is also returning from the east. Speaking of ocean temperatures, warmer than average along the California coast as shown here. Dark red means significantly above average sea surface temperatures. The ocean water. So the beaches will be in the 70s for the holiday weekend. Now, we are talking about a La Nina still, so along the Equatorial Pacific Ocean, cooler than average conditions exist. But that's not the case for most of the northern Atlantic and the northern and eastern Pacific Ocean. These are departure from normal or average sea surface temperatures. What's the weather pattern been? It's been quite amplified, so up and down type of motion, roller coaster. So over the past 3 months, the prevailing upper level high pressure or ridge has been over the Central Plains, Northern Rockies, and Northern Texas. That's why it's been so hot there. That's why Salt Lake City has set records with around 28 days over 100. The white arrow is the monsoon flow, and because this high pressure has been so persistent in that same location, healthy monsoon flow up the lower Colorado River Valley. Note the blue area. That's an upper level storm system, not one, but an average of 3 months. That's been persistent. The black line is the storm track, and that's brought cooler weather and some unusual rain to the Pacific Northwest. We've been right in the middle of all this. If you think back to a couple years ago in 2020, when there was raging wildfires and when there was really hot temperatures, it was really dry. Pretty much a monsoon didn't exist in summer 2020. If you look at this current monsoon, you can see it's been really wet in the Southern California deserts and lower Colorado River Valley. In some cases, 1.5 to 2.5 times as wet as normal. Also wet across the Pacific Northwest, mainly Oregon to Northern California, as shown here. If you ask the question, is it the wettest monsoon on record? The answer is no for most areas, but there are some areas with record wet near the Arizona-New Mexico border, and considerably wet across much of the lower Colorado River Valley, in some cases top 10%. What about the temperatures? It doesn't seem like they've been that warm on the coast, and that's the case, but it's still been above average for this summer. If you look at the temperatures across the mountains and deserts, that's much warmer than average, as shown in the darker red. Take a look at this here. This asks the question about record warmth in the mountains. You can see that across the entire West, it's been much above average in the top 10%, and only a few areas, such as scattered in Southern California mountains, at record warmest for June through August. Okay, what are we expecting in the next few days? Dome of high pressure in upper levels. That is what controls our weather pattern on the left-hand side, and it expands and strengthens Saturday, Sunday during the holiday weekend, extending from the Rockies to southern and central California. It starts the weekend on Monday and certainly by Wednesday, but notice the position remains still just to our north overhead. We see a tropical cyclone Javier move off to the west and a new system potentially coming up towards the Baja region as shown on the right. A quick look at the temperatures for this weekend. Saturday, very hot. Temperatures up near 110 again in the warmest spots of the Inland Empire, up near 105 in the San Diego valleys and the Orange County inland areas, even along the immediate coast in the 90s. The minimum temperatures are going to be elevated too. You'll notice them over the weekend if you haven't already. These are low temperatures expected Sunday morning. Some places not dropping below 80, even in the coastal valleys. Now the temperatures on Sunday, still very hot. Up near 110, the hottest locations of the Inland Empire. Over 100 San Diego valleys and inland Orange County. And still 90s along the immediate coast as shown here. Not much relief. You have to go up to about 7,000 feet to really get temperatures that aren't exceeding 80 degrees. It's still going to be hot on Labor Day Monday, but temperatures will be a little bit lower along the coast. But the heat unfortunately shifts more inland and north back into the high desert. Excessive heat continues. We also have a threat for lightning. Why? Well, there's monsoon moisture in the mid-levels coming in from the east. So I think the threat exists all the way through the weekend. And it's not just the mountain locations, it's the shaded areas in yellow as well. For Saturday and Sunday, any location, a lot like what is occurring on Friday. Now, any thunderstorm is not going to be able to produce much rain. It's so hot in the lower levels and moisture is mostly elevated above us. But the threat for lightning and the main story will be the heat risk. Heat risk is a measure of the temperatures against what they normally are, or climatology. You can see painted in red all along the coast, significant heat risk. If you look at the departure from temperature and some of the records, those are listed here. Take a look at your location. We do expect to see some record high temperatures and low temperatures with the warm nights. How warm? What's the actual departure from normal? Well, it looks like anywhere from 8 to 17 degrees along the coast and valleys. As you can see from this map, the concentration of warmth, or how unusual the temperatures are compared to average, is along the coast, making the high heat risk in those areas. For Sunday, this is a look at the temperatures. Take a look at your favorite location, Lake Elsinore. Prediction around 110. The record is around 110, for example. Same with Ramona, 102, 102. Humidity levels. We talk about humidity. The dew points are in the 70s along the coast and the Coachella Valley. So is it humid? Well, relatively speaking, the humidity is low. And so that's why there is a concern with any lightning, and also just the general fire danger remains elevated because of humidity 20 to 30 in the afternoons with such hot temperatures. The fuel moisture is dry in most areas, live and dead fuel moisture. Is there going to be a lot of wind? It does not look like it. I took an example here of Saturday afternoon. The dark green shaded is typical winds for these mountain passes, desert slopes, and canyons. And this will be wind driven during the heating of the day and the sunshine. But most cases, winds not exceeding 20 miles per hour, except in the normal windy areas that occur in the afternoon. Certainly not any Santa Ana type wind. The heat risk on Sunday gets worse. Heat risk of purple means 2 days of red. And you can see that expands almost across the entire LA basin down to San Diego. Now, we do see a little bit of a change on Monday potentially, but the LA basin, high desert, inland empire, and parts of the inland valleys remain red and purple. Purple's the highest level, and again, that's a consecutive 2 days of red. I also wanted to point out the wet bulb global temperature because I think that's an important ingredient to why it will be so uncomfortable in this type of heat. The gray, dark shaded areas are extreme, and this is occurring on Saturday during the weekend with values getting in the 90s. This takes into account the moisture that we are feeling in addition to the temperature. You can see on Labor Day we get a little bit lower, but still overall upper 80s in the inland valleys and lower 90s. How unusual is this heat? Well, I think we figured it out by now how hot it was on Wednesday and Thursday, and knowing the departure of normal from 5 to as much as 18 degrees with the temperatures, it's unusual. The whole weather pattern is on the extreme side, even for this time of year in early September. It doesn't go away either. It's a persistent dome of hot air that looks like it'll linger, resulting in unusual warm temperatures through early next week. Here's a look at some of the temperatures as a general range. You'll escape some of the heat on the beach, but when you go inland, not much escape on the coast, even getting in the upper 90s. Inland valleys getting over 100, touching 105 in the hot spots. Inland Empire touching 112, same with the high desert in the hot spots. And of course, our lower deserts are hot as well, but not even much relief in our foothills. Tips to beat the heat. Read these. Drink plenty of fluids, slow down, adjust your times outdoors, check on the elderly, kids and pets, get shade if you can. This is a popular weekend for last end of the summer activities, and this can be dangerous if these are not followed. Thanks for tuning in, and be safe over the Labor Day weekend holiday.